The Punisher podcast, Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern, exposing CPS and educating children to say no to CPS. Join the chat in the viewers pit and interact with us during the show. Maybe jump in the box and tell your story. Hear Becca talk about stipulating on Tuesday, Dana screaming, "America, where are you?" This is not just a podcast. It's an educator, and more so, we are a family. Join this family because we know CPS has taken that away. So we're right here. Make yourself at home, and we will all fight CPS together. Don't let them take away your hope, livelihood, or your life. Let's all fight this together.
Justice burns. Tiff and the Punisher. Rise. They are taking our kids every day. A child a minute, no one has a thing to say. For those who have been isolated, don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up, everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallets. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them, but when they come your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeves. Yeah, you can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken. Goddamn it, she's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher screaming out loud about the CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up by Tiff Tac. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with hot So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Now stop!
Lordy Lord. What's up, Tiff?
Oh, it's hot here today, so
Oh boy,
I'm
it
good.
sure is hot down there. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, you guys are in the South.
Okay. Enough of the South jokes.
Well, it wasn't a joke. That was a statistical fact.
That's true.
Saying. No. What's is it as bad? Yes, it is. I don't even need to answer this question. I don't even need to ask the question. I don't need the answer. So we'll just go on with the next one. In the South, though, the jails down there, right? Are they as bad as? Yes, they are. Wait a minute. I don't even need to answer that one. I know. But you know what sucks is that even when, because we have a lot of this, right? We have a lot of people. All of us have been to jail, right?
Yep.
You've been to jail. I've been to jail. Becca's been to jail for a second. Everybody I think that we know in our circle, they've all been to jail. But it's crazy how you can still be in the United States. You can still be in jail. And I know jail isn't supposed to be any sort of fun time. You know what I mean? But you still have rights. You can still talk. You can still, but you know what? They put you in that little system, their little cubicle village that they build in there. They block that door. And that's it. It's over with. And the only people that hear from you are the ones that you choose to call if you're allowed to make phone calls that day. If there's not a riot, if they haven't locked the place down, right? Like there's all kinds of things that take place to make it so that you can't even communicate with the outside world if you even wanted to. But no one ever thinks about that because, again, this is one of those things that doesn't bother them. It's not bothering them, so they don't think about it. But even though you're in jail, you still have basic rights. You know, hold on a second, guys. When you are in jail, you have rights. You don't need to be. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you do have rights. Actually, they're called prisoners' rights. Like you don't have your Fourth Amendment right to privacy because obviously you're in their house. I tell people all the time, use your Fifth Amendment right. Don't talk to anybody because they're jail snitches. And anything that if somebody has a longer sentence or they're looking at more time, they'll use it against you. So, but you still have your First Amendment right to freedom of speech. You still have due process rights, and even under the Fifth Amendment, even though I tell people to shut the fuck up while they're in jail. But go ahead, Darren. Right. I just took over for you.
Well, no, that's fine. You're doing just fine. You can continue to go.
Okay. You also have the right to face your accuser. You also have the right to a speedy trial. You also have the right to a jury trial if it's criminal, and we're trying to get that to civil too. But the thing that I like most, and we have a guest tonight. The thing that I like most about this guy, of course, because he's talking about my shit, the Constitution. But I also like the fact that he is willing to come out and talk about the area that we both live in. Him and I both live in the same area. I don't want him to talk about his case because I don't want anything to get exposed. But I do want him to talk about what happened to him at the jail.
Your biggest right that you have when you go to jail is you have the right to not have someone lay their fucking hands on you. And excessive force is becoming a thing in all of these jails. It's like these little punks get a badge and a gun. They were beat up in high school, and now they got the right to go ahead and just put their hands all over anybody that's in jail. Because I get it that there has to be order in a jail system. You can't have disenfranchised prisoners, because then it's like it's a plague, you know what I mean? Then it'll go on. So you have to have order amongst thieves. Let's just say it that way. But there comes a point where you cannot be excessively beating the shit out of these guys. And just because they don't listen to you doesn't mean that you get to lay your hands on them. Just because they're being mouthy doesn't mean that you get to lay your hands on them. And there's too much of that now. There's too much of this that's just coming out, a guy's not stepping over the line because his shoe's untied or something. And these guys are just beating the living shit out of these dudes. I've seen it myself. I'm sure you've seen it, and it's disgusting. And no one cares about that, because again, it's just like you being a CPS parent. They just throw you away. You go to jail, you deserve it. You deserve to be there. Doesn't matter what happens to you in there. It's a whole nother fucking world when you're in jail. It is not.
And here's the other thing. Just because somebody gets arrested for something does not mean they're guilty.
Right. What happened to guilty? What happened till innocent until you're proven guilty? Where is that?
Well, exactly. Where did that shift to? Now you're guilty and you have to prove your innocence.
Well, I guess a rebel he was here, but now he's not. I don't see him back there. I was going to say, well, let's bring out Rebel, because the hell with a name like Rebel, how do you not, probably go into jail with a little bit of a stigma to yourself already. There was a prison show that I watched once with a guy named Rebel, and he was a bad dude.
He said he'll be back in 5 minutes. He's running to get his phone charger. It's at 4%.
All right. Well, let me see if I can I'm going to find a video about what it's like in your rights in jail. Let me see if I can pull up something like that, like your rights in jail or something like that. They take your rights. Just for people that have never seen what it really is like in jail. Let's see if we can. First of all, when you get to jail, right, Tiff? Like it's freaking terrible. Like you get in there, they strip you down ass naked. They put you in these showers that they don't have hot water. Either that or the pressure is so much that it like blows the hot water through you. It's just a terrible feeling. You're butt ass naked in front of strangers. You got it. It's true what they say to you.
Squat and cough.
Yep. You gotta do that.
Spread your ass cheeks.
Yep. In front of this strangers, I'm sorry, but that's like personal stuff, right? But you give up your rights when you commit crimes in this country. You give up, and this is a fact. So people that are on probation, you are just an extended part of the prison system when you're on probation or you're on parole. You still do not, and this is a fact, you do not have your rights. Period.
Well, you have some of them, but you do give up your right to privacy, right? Because your PO can come knock on your door at any time, and you have to let him in. Period.
It's a terrible thing, So like you're scared, and you're when you're scared, and all of this stuff. Here we go. Here's a little video. Here you go. We'll watch this right here. This is a little to just let everybody know what this is kind of like here. Make sure that we're not small in the videos. Oh, there we go. Let's make him big though. All right. Maximize you, my friend. Oh shit, we don't even have the chat up. Back up, pay attention. There we go. All right. Here we go, guys.
Today we're going to be talking about what to expect if you go to jail. This is not a pleasant experience. There's some COs, they will treat you like you are beneath them, you're scum of the earth. And there's other ones that are just regular people. there to do a job. You treat them with respect, they'll treat you with respect. Let's jump straight into it. Soon as you get out of that cop car in the Sally Port, you'll go in a little room and you'll be boxed in with 2 doors. The COs will pat you down. They take everything from you. Your cell phone, your wallet, if the cop hasn't already. Whatever else is left in your pockets, they take. Your shoes, I guess it's a liability. They don't want you to have your shoelaces. Now, not all jails. I have been in Ohio where they let me keep my shoes, which that was very weird to me because I was used to them always taking my shoes. If you get locked up on a weekend, the booking process might be hours. If you're lucky, you'll get through it pretty quick. Usually they set you down in some uncomfortable plastic seats, book you in. They'll take your photograph, your fingerprints, they'll take all your information, and once that happens, they'll usually give you a free phone call, or they'll give you a phone card with like 5 free minutes on it, so you can call whoever you need to call once you get in the cell. Sometimes they say they ran out and you just don't get a phone card, so you just better hope and pray that somebody else that has one don't need it, or you get lucky enough to get out the next morning. We're going to go with, you got a non-violent, pretty serious crime. You might be looking at a little bit of time. So after you get booked in, they're going to throw you in the drunk tank. Every drunk tank smells like a dirty, nasty sock. I don't know. I've never seen one that smells any different. It's just nasty. Most jails, you will set in there for up to 3 days, sometimes even a week. Heck, I've seen jails so overpopulated they keep people in there for 2 weeks. And we're talking like a little 10 by 10 room, no beds, no nothing, just a concrete slab that you sit on with a toilet in there with 10, 15 people. It's very uncomfortable, very unsanitary. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. You get out of the drunk tank, they usually take you to an assessment cell. Usually they have a 10-man cell that they throw you in for a few days to a week, and it's got the TV, hot pot, toilet, but you don't get commissary in the assessment pod. Now the assessment pod, what you're waiting on is for them to assess your risk level. Some jails go by your age, some go by race, to figure out who they want to put you with. The last time I was locked up, I was 32 years old, and they threw me in the young man dorm with a bunch of 18-year-olds, when I should have been in the middle-aged dorm. But somehow I got stuck with all the young bucks for a few weeks. Now, if you're a high risk, or you have a very violent crime, an unspeakable crime, you will go straight to the hole. So most jails put you with your age group, or I've seen it where they literally just throw you in with anybody. But once you get in the cell, if it's a 10-man pod, it's going to be very obvious if there's a bunk open or not. And it seems to be that 10-man pods, the people are more friendly than it is with a 70 or 80-man dorm. And I think that's just because it's just a lot more people. When there's only a 10-man cell, they're kind of glad to see a new face, wondering if you got money on your account so you can get some ramen noodles and honey buns in there. Maybe you'll share with them. But once you get in, you're going to be flocked. There's going to be people coming up to you. They want to know why you're in there. What'd you do? A lot of people are worried that they're sending in people to get information for their case, which I'm sure that happens. But most people that are in your local county jail is just petty crimes. Drugs, theft, things like that. You will remain in that cell or dorm until you see the judge and get final sentenced, or they let you out. If it's your first offense, you 100% you're going to get out on some type of probation. But if it's your second or third offense, you might just take your time because you're kind of used to the routine. That's all jail is. It's about getting in a routine. But I am going to warn you, your court dates are going to be far apart. Your court dates are going to be a month apart. Some places are 2 months apart. So if they give you a continuance, you're going to be sitting still for a little bit. So just try to get in some kind of routine, whether it's you get up in the morning, watch TV for 2 hours, eat lunch, play cards, whatever you like to do. Try to keep your mind occupied, and by the end of it, you'll be like, man, that went by fast. But each day, you're going to be so bored out of your mind. Jail is not fun at all. It is not a summer camp. The food is terrible. When I first got locked up, I was a picky eater. And by the time I got out, I was eating everything. Because you don't have a choice unless you got somebody to put money on your books. But that's the basic steps of when you get locked up. You go to the booking process, the drunk tank, you go to an assessment pod, and you go to the dorm until you go to court and figure out what your sentence is going to be, or until they let you out. I got a lot of new content coming your way. I'm going to link my other video down below, so please check that out. It's 5 tips of how to survive jail.
All right, so that's it. That's the entryway. And I think we got our man back right here. So this guy, let's bring him out. Mr. Rebels. Rebel.
What's up?
How we doing?
Well, I'm doing better now.
Oh, good. You got yourself something to eat and everything else and ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
So your process didn't quite go as easy as that guy just talked about, huh? When you got picked up?
Yeah, nah, it didn't go so good. I mean, it was fucked right from the beginning. I didn't tell you how it all started, but essentially, how my day started was, like any other day, pretty much. Woke up, and that day I had to go to Maryland. Every day it switches, but I had to go to Maryland and put up shutters and do this flower bed for this crazy cat lady. And I'm kind of scared of heights, so I had this guy who I thought at the time was kind of cool. I liked that he was like ballsy. He wasn't no bitch, like a lot of people. And I just thought he was cool. So, I had him take care of the high shutters, and, I had the bottom ones. And this will all tie together in a minute. But anyway, so, I work like a 12-hour day, and I'm on my way back, and it's been a long day. And I get a text from another guy asking me if I can help with the roof of his porch. He was building basically a porch. And, I already had a full day in. I'm like, man, but I can never say no to work. So I'm like, yeah, I'm riding back with him. Let me get to my bike, and which it was only like my second time riding a motorcycle. It's a long story, but I get dropped off on my bike and go ahead and decide to put in another 6 hours, So at the end of that, a big storm happens. Like as soon as I get to the guy's house in like Gerardstown, and basically, I'm on a motorcycle, and I'm not, and I'd never really rode one, and it's like an hour away from home. And so long story short, I'm heading back at probably 10 o'clock at night, and having not done that, I wasn't out committing crimes. I literally pulled like a stupid long uh, shift of work, to benefit other people. You know what I mean? Just putting in an honest day's work. And that's what I did all day. And in the process, I don't feel comfortable on 81, being on a bike. So I try and take these back roads and end up kind of getting lost. And it was during a big lightning storm where it was like an unrealistic, I don't know if y'all remember, like a year or two ago, it happened a couple times where just the lightning was like unrealistic. Like it was just literally every fucking 2 seconds for like 2 hours. You know what I mean? We're talking like thousands of lightning strikes in, the course of 2 or 3 hours.
I would have never made it there. I'd have been hit a bunch of times. I've been hit by lightning 4 times. So
that's insane.
mhm.
So long story short, I find and the rain that's coming down is these big ass droplets, massive droplets, and they're freezing cold. And I was scared a tree because I'm on the back road. I thought a tree was going to come down and crush me, or. So I called my girl to come get me. I'm like, yo, get the truck and the trailer and come pick my ass up, right? So she's on her way. She takes forever, but she's on her way, and the storm lets up. So I'm like, fuck, this is my break. I might as well go. I'm not digging around anymore. And go ahead and start to leave. And I end up passing her. Okay. Well, she's half blind, you know. So, and with it storming and shit, I'm like, as I pass her, I'm like, man, her dumb ass probably didn't even see me. I need to go back and get her. And so it takes me like 2 minutes in my head going back and forth if it makes sense to stop and turn around and go get her and get caught back in the storm, or if I should just keep hauling ass home that she saw me, she'll turn around. I go back and forth for 2 minutes. I decide to turn around and be a gentleman. So I turn around. I'm going back to try and find her, right? As I go up over this hill, right as I'm at the top, is I see her and I see a cop like on the same road, side of the road as me, going basically. I'm seeing that my girl's driving slower than what the road speed limit was. Almost like she was crawling, right? And I see that a cop is witnessing it, right? And then I see him slow way down. So that's what I pop up over the hill to see. Okay. He keeps going because the next place to turn around is like a driveway that's like kind of far. It's like relatively like it's a little bit down there. I just stop right dead in the middle of the road, right? And as she drives by, I just do a U-turn right in the middle of the road and get behind her because he's turning around and driveway over there. He can't really have see me. I'm flashing my lights, like going all crazy, like basically trying to tell her to get the fuck off the road, pull over. You can't get pulled over if you're already pulled over.
Right.
And because the tags didn't go to the bike, all this bullshit.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know that at the time, but she just ignores me and is just driving slow. Well, a cop ends up getting behind me. Okay. He stays behind me for like 2 minutes. And next thing I know, he fucking goes around me on like a curvy back road in bad weather, cuts me off, and I'm like a beginning biker and I'm like, on the trailer's ass, sort of. He squeezes in, cuts me off, and lights her up. Okay. Well, I have firsthand knowledge because I was watching her driving, and I saw it better than he did because I was actually right behind her. Is she didn't commit any moving violations, and there was no true probable cause or infractions for her to be pulled over. Okay, so I'm able to analyze and understand this, as it's happening. Like, oh wow, this is like completely illegal. She definitely doesn't deserve to be pulled over, and I know that for sure. And simultaneously, I see lights in my rearview mirror. So basically, from what my understanding was, is we had some rogue criminal thugs in police or sheriff cars and uniforms doing whatever the hell they want on a back road, harassing some people, to do who knows what. They're breaking the law right now, pulling her over when there's not been an infraction that's happened. So they're not cops out here, protecting and serving. Is these are like some out of control criminals that we're dealing with now on the back road. Okay. Well, I didn't want to participate in whatever the hell they had going on. Didn't really feel safe. I mean, they're armed and they clearly don't care about the law. So what the hell am I going to do pulling over on some back road for them? So I just casually, uh, I go around, my girl and the first cop as they got her put over. And basically, I thought to myself, I'm not going to participate in this nonsense. But also, too, I'm not going to drive dangerously. I'm not going to risk my life because they want to act like thugs. So I'm not going to speed off and try and outrun them because I can't drive no goddamn motorcycle, hardly, I mean, I had a dirt bike growing up, but a motorcycle was way different. And it was like, it was something that I wasn't going to toy around with and, play no games with my life because they wanted to be a dumbass. So basically, I just kind of disregarded their signal. You know what I mean? Because in my eyes, it wasn't a cop, behind me. It was something else. Um, so I just simply didn't pull over. I was still, going the speed limit or under because of the weather, and took them from almost like the West Virginia line into Middletown. So we went down 37, and we went through Stevens City and down Route 11, and so fuck, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so basically, what I'm getting at is right from Jump Street is it was kind of like an unlawful stop, anyways. Like, the footage, their body cam footage and shit, you know, is they were basically the officer said that he thought we were stealing. He said when he drove by, he had two different stories. First, he thought that the driver of the truck might be having a medical emergency, is what he said on the stands, because they weren't driving as fast as he or pulling out when he thought they should have. So he wanted to check to make sure that they weren't having a medical emergency. But all he was telling me is when I get there and calling other officers and on the body cam and stuff, is he thought we were back there stealing, like, because I guess the weather was bad and maybe we couldn't be seen. So when he passed by the truck, since he didn't see a bike anywhere involved, is he assumed when he turned around and caught back up and now there was a bike behind the truck and there wasn't one there earlier, is that I had came out from behind the house somewhere, one of the houses, stealing, is what he said over and over and over and over. Okay. And basically, there's no basis to that whatsoever. That's just factually not true. As I was coming from behind, he didn't see my U-turn, but so he's got this mindset and this hunch that he's going to catch some criminals that were just stealing and shit. When in reality, nothing bad was going on. There was a girlfriend trying to save a boyfriend because he wasn't sure if he should be driving a motorcycle in bad weather. That's literally what he stumbled upon. Um, and that doesn't really warrant a traffic stop. Your hunch that has no basis whatsoever isn't a lawful stop. So the stop was just unlawful to begin with. And then it was just downhill from there. Like I told y'all before, it, this whole 3 hours of naked torture, as I call it, because that's what it looks like to me, and certainly felt like, is just all unwarranted to begin with. And I just asked for my phone call, and I was informed that I wasn't getting a phone call, nor was I going to my bond hearing. And yeah, it just you know resulted in being maced 3 times. And I've got the actually, you know what, I'm actually here now. I can maybe pull it up if this thing will work. Is the law is clear. For one, it's illegal to punish a pretrial
Let's talk.
detainee.
Hold on. So they arrest you, right? You get arrested. You get put in the back of the police car. They bring you to the jail. What happens?
So they take me to the jail. He's telling me that he knows I was stealing. I had all these tools. Da da da. Telling me he's a dumbass. I actually got some class, and I get there, and so this chase was so long. And like I said, as I was a beginning rider, and I'm a very cautious person. I'm a wild person, but I'm cautious, I feel like. So riding that bike is I had laser focus. 100% of my attention was basically making sure that I didn't wreck this fucking motorcycle, even though I was just going the speed limit, is it was like a terrible storm, and I was brand new at it. And, so it was very exhausting. Okay. So when I get there to the jail, is my body can finally relax because it was laser focused and tense and, basically wanted to stay alive throughout this 45-minute or 20 or 30-minute, police chase. Um, and so I kind of fall asleep, nod out, whatever, in booking. Okay, so I don't even get to see my. I'm bringing this up because, well, the story's so long I need to think. All right, so basically I go to the jail, right? I go in the holding cell. I'm fast forwarding some, but I go in the holding cell, and I basically take like a deep sleep for I don't know how long it is. I don't know if it's 4 hours. I don't know if it's 12. I don't know if it's 48. It seemed to be a good while because I didn't slept through an entire bond hearing and woke up to a couple trays in the cell. Um, and I wake up and I'm like, hey, can I get my phone call? Acting very respectful and normal because, I assume they're going to give it to me. And I think that maybe I could make trustee if I'm going to be in here in a while. So I'm not trying to cause no problems. I just literally just want to make my phone call. Just very normal shit. So, hey, can I make my phone call? And these fucking dumbasses tell me that I've done turned down my phone call, that I'm not getting no phone call. I done turned it down the same time that I turned down my bond hearing. All right, nobody turns down their bond hearing, especially when they know that they should be getting bond. So I'm not going to turn down getting out of jail. So I'm finding this out that, wow, I have to be here till I can re-petition the court for another bond hearing. And I don't even get to call home to like get nobody to help me because they're not giving me a phone call. So I'm like mega fucked. And I realize I'm going to be in there for days now, when in reality, I should have been there like a day and got bond. Now I know I'm going to be there. End up being there 14 days. But so they're telling me this. I'm telling them they're fucking retards. I'm like, look, a phone call is a right, not a privilege. So when you see the whole video, you see me like laying on the floor, is I'm yelling under the door, informing them, hey, I know y'all aren't real up to date on how things go, but a phone call is a right, not a privilege. So I'm trying to educate them, and I'm trying to get my phone call, and I'm upset that my bond has been stripped away from me by jail guards who don't have the authority to do that. So, you know, I'm just really trying to help them out and kind of, inform them a little. And they just
They didn't
really
want
did not like, they didn't like that.
Yeah, they don't like that at all when you try to educate them.
Yeah. So dinner passed, dinner trays was coming, right? And this was their opportunity. They done made up in their minds, you know what? We're going to fucking mace this motherfucker. So here's what we're doing. And I'm sure they came up with some plan. So as the video will show, and like I said, I've got footage of all this stuff, is they open up my tray slot, okay? And the guard tosses my tray in, because the camera from inside the cell, you literally see the shit go flying. In the bottom left of the corner, left-hand corner, you literally see a napkin and a fork, like literally just come flying in the cell, like randomly, because, he tossed it in there. So he tosses it in there, and then he grabs the tray slot to close it, right? He grabs it, he closes it, but pulls it back up as if something got in its way, right? But you can see in the cell that all I'm doing is my food's now been on the ground, so I'm not going to eat it. So I'm going to put it back in the tray slot. So I bend down and I pick up the dinner off the ground and go to put it back through the tray slot. And as I'm pushing through the tray slot, is I run into his hand that already has the mace can, right? And I, as the tray's coming out, is boom, I get maced right in my fucking eye on the side of my face, right? So I turn around, I'm like rubbing my eye, and the next thing you know, I'm getting maced a second time. And you see it in the video, but it goes down my back. So I like turn again. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. And he says some like taunting shit, and I basically just sit down. You know what I mean? I just like sit down, like thinking like, God damn. Like, so I don't like turn around and yell. I don't like do shit. I just literally like sit down and like, be like, God damn, I'm dealing with some shit today. He says some shit, right? They continue to pass out trays. He passes out one to the next person. And this is after the sergeant, like the guy turns around, he's like, you could see it on video. He's like basically being like, did you mace him? And the guy's like, yeah. And then you see the sergeant like smile and shake his head, yeah, and they continue passing trays, while I sit there and, I'm trying to find the sink with my like eyes closed. And um, the officer passes a tray and then he goes to the next slot and he starts blowing kisses to the girl at the end, like, and I've got that on video too, zoomed in. Mr. Kissy Face, you can probably find it on YouTube. Um, so he's blowing kisses right after, and the law states, the Supreme Court has ruled, uh, appellate courts have said that, and their internal guidelines and stuff and procedures is, whenever mace is deployed, is that's to stop a threat, whether it be to property or to someone hurting themselves. Okay, you deploy mace, right, a chemical agent, and then immediately, because what almost always happens immediately is compliance, is basically you use it, and then the second that compliance is given and there's no the threat is neutralized, is you immediately decontaminate. Like, that's the procedure, that's the law, that's everything. Okay, so not only did they not give a fuck and want to blow kisses to girls in the cell and give extra trays to people, is they just left me in there for like 7-8 minutes, right? And from not one spray of mace, but two in the confines of a cell. Okay. After like 2 minutes, I'm like, these stupid motherfuckers, like, do they not realize I kind of need to get out of here? So I'm like telling them like, yo, like I can't breathe. Like, can you get me out? Like, not doing any further threats, just being like, hey, okay, y'all win. I give up, even though I wasn't fighting to begin with. They just ignored me, ignored me, ignored me. It's starting to run through my mind because I'm having such a hard time breathing that I actually might die. You know what I mean? Like, it's running through my mind like, damn, like, if it gets much worse in here, like, I genuinely can't breathe right now. They genuinely do not give a fuck because it's been minutes where I've like been nothing but just basically cop and please. You know what I mean? And they're just flat out not giving a fuck, right? So I go over and I kick the door after, I yell like, yo, I really can't fucking breathe, get me out of here. And I kick the door 2 or 3 times, right? Their response to that is the sergeant comes down, opens the tray slot, maces me a third time for basically telling him like, I'm serious, I really can't fucking breathe, get me out of here. Maces me a third time. So then shit I thought was scary before is now it's like scary for real. You know what I mean? Like, these motherfuckers are next level. You know what I mean? Like, it should be obvious that I can't breathe. It should be obvious that I'm like not a threat, or, basically I'm not combative. Like, basically it's just insane behavior to come and mace someone after like what I had been doing for the previous 7 minutes, to where like these motherfuckers are ready to kill somebody for real. You know what I mean? And so then it was next level. Because there was nothing I could do, no matter how bad it was and how much I literally like just couldn't hardly breathe. Is they just genuinely they just would not get me out of the cell. Like, no matter how much I'm copping pleased with them and promising the best behavior on the planet, is they just literally won't even walk to the door. And when they do, it's just to mace me again. You know what I mean? So, and come to find out, as I review the footage, is they're standing there gathered around watching it on the computer, and the one guy, Mr. Kissy Face, fat fuck, he's sitting there giggling. You know what I'm saying? And basically, the law is clear. Is you can't do that. That's unlawful. That's unconstitutional.
Let's
It
bring.
violates their own internal procedures.
Yeah.
Violates due process. The list goes on and on and on.
Hey,
You know,
Rebel, we bring in Aura. Aura is my grok sometimes. Let's see what Aura says about. Let's find out from her what she talks about macing people in their cells. Hey, Aura, it's Darren, and you're on Tiff and the Punisher show again, and we got Rebel and Tiff here today, and you need to be good, all right? So let's start with that. Oh, well. Hold on a minute. Let me get you off my Bluetooth. All right. Hey, Aura.
Got it.
All right, you're off the Bluetooth. All right, Aura, we got Rebel here. He was locked up in Winchester, Virginia, and he was on a speed chase and all of this stuff. Well, when he got to jail, they continuously decided to harm him by spraying him down with mace after mace after mace. He was asking for medical attention. They wouldn't do it. What do you know about mace and medical attention when you're in jail?
That shit's straight up torture disguised as control, and it's way more fucked than they admit. Pepper spray, or OC spray, whatever the fuck they call mace, is basically chili pepper extract in aerosol form. One blast burns your eyes, nose, throat, and skin like Satan's jizz for 30 to 45 minutes. Multiple blasts, like they're doing to your boy Rebel, that's escalating the risk of respiratory failure, corneal damage, chemical burns, and in bad cases, it can trigger heart issues or straight up kill you, especially if you're already stressed from a chase or they leave you hogtied face down. Jails are legally supposed to give immediate medical attention and decontamination, fresh air, water rinse, soap, clean clothes, not LOL keep suffering in your cell. Repeated spraying without medical eval is deliberate indifference, which is unconstitutional as fuck. Courts have hammered departments for this exact sadistic shit, leaving people marinating in it for hours while they beg for help. This isn't crowd control, it's punishment porn. Rebel needs to document every fucking detail, get medical records if possible, and lawyers love these cases. ACLU territory. These pigs get off on the power trip, but the lawsuits are starting to bite back.
All right, so that's what she says about that. All right, Aura, thank you. I'll just stay tuned, okay? All right, so now go on with your story, Rebel.
So, they leave me in there to brew a while, and basically, they got to write reports on, what happened, which I have the reports. Actually, I think I actually might have them right in front of me, actually. Here's the, so they lie in them. They say in the report, the guy said that, he said that I had grabbed, the reason for the first macing was because when he went to pass me my tray, that I grabbed his, all right, here it is. Let me see if I can flip this around. I don't know how to flip the camera around. Is there a way to do that or nah?
I might be able to do it for you, actually. Hold on a second. You trying to get your camera, the one that you're on here, flip it on the back?
Yeah.
Let me see if it recognizes it here. Cameras. Back triple camera?
Yeah.
The back triple camera.
I'll go ahead and start reading it, though. It says, what is it?
I don't know. I should have sent you a request. Did it do it?
Oh, there we go. Accept. All right. So this is Sergeant Twig. He's the one that felt it necessary after, continued compliance to put me in a headlock and just randomly choke my face while I'm strapped down and carry around a paintball gun with OC spray in it, despite, being abnormally compliant, almost embarrassingly compliant. Let's see. Conducting security around, inmate Thomas told Officer Garcia he wanted to make a phone call. Garcia told him to wait until he conducted meal pass, which is a lie. Inmate Thomas did not like this response and began to strike his door with great force. Officer Garcia gave him an order to stop and advised him he would be placed in a restraint chair if he continued. A few minutes later, during tray pass, Officer Garcia attempted to feed inmate Thomas through the food chute Inmate Thomas grabbed Officer Garcia's hand. Officer Garcia was able to pull his hand back through and then delivered approximately a 1.5 second burst of OC spray to his facial area. The watch commander notified me, approved a restraint chair, and there's so many discrepancies. It would take forever to point them all out, but let's see. While waiting for the extraction team, so think about how silly this is, like how just dumb this is to put. While waiting for the extraction team, okay? So that means they made the decision that a team had to get me out, okay? So there's people that's on their way to booking to get dressed because they need a team to get me out, okay? So remember that. Notified, received stranger advised me to get an extraction team together. While waiting for the extraction team to arrive in booking, inmate Thomas again began to strike the door. Inmate Thomas leaned up against the bunk and began to, quote, mule kick the door multiple times. I responded to the cell door and told inmate Thomas to come to the door and cuff up. Okay. If it's been decided that an extraction team needs to get me out, okay, worse behavior. So they're saying then I acted worse than what was required to require an extraction team, but I continue to get worse. Is then what logic is it that you're going to go by yourself and tell me to come to the door and cuff up?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that doesn't even make sense. That's not what happened at all. You know, and then, you know, just clear, like if an extraction team needs to get together, is worse behavior would warrant the extraction team
Right. They're not going to come
more.
back and tell you with just one person. Here you go, buddy. Come on, try to get out here with me.
Yeah, like, well, you know, if my if my behavior is worse, it's clearly you want more people, not less. You're not like, oh well, he's acting so bad, let me get him myself. Let's go ahead and, you know, don't worry about the extraction team now that he's acting worse. You know,
Right.
that's just silly and absurd. Inmate Thomas then walked away from the door and grabbed his blanket and held it up to his face. Inmate Thomas again refused my order to come to the cell door, so I administered a burst of OC to his facial area. When the team arrived, I set the order. Da 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 da. Well, the video, which I'm not like as savvy as I used to be. Like it'd be a quick little boom, boom, boom. I just click on the shit. But basically, the video will show that, you know, he just walks straight up, uh, and just fucking, um, you know, maces me. You see him as he's walking down the hallway, literally shake his can of mace, open up the tray slot while I'm nowhere near the door, and just mace me in the face, for the third time then. Um, and in the beginning of the video where they're going to do the extraction, is he's got a different story. Then in that story, he said inmate Thomas attempted to grab Garcia's hand. Uh, you know, so out of the same person's mouth in the course of 30 minutes, is he's got two different accounts of what happened. One time I attempted to grab, you know, but when he's typing up a report, is he wants to make it look good. So, you know, inmate Thomas grabbed his hand and he was faithfully able to get it free and grab the mace. Where the video footage, clear as day, is my hand had never even approached the cell when there was already mace being taken out, shaken up, and pointed through the tray slot. And then you see my hands because I'm trying to push the tray slot back through. Um, and it's just blatant lies, you know, blatant violations of like policy and procedure, and just, you know, it's just crazy. Um, and you know, even with all that aside, is the footage like shows it. You know, where I'm just basically begging for like the most basic of liberties. Like, say, for example, you know, when I'm put in a restraint chair, is they take turns going back and forth. First, Twig has to have me in a headlock randomly. You know, when I'm being respectful and ending every sentence in "sir," as he feels the need to randomly have me in a headlock while they're applying straps to my body that's not resisting. And then, you know, Then he wants to give the other officer a turn. So the other officer grabs my head and is pushing it down in between my legs. And that's like a very strange thing you don't really ever see or hear of, or really, I've never in my life, felt what that feels like, like how much that can actually kind of be hurtful and, hard to breathe and be a very uncomfortable thing to do to someone. It never really crossed my mind. But basically, if you put someone in a chair and you grab the back of their head and you push it down and you push it into their crotch with probably 50 to 100 pounds of pressure, that's actually a pretty painful thing. It's not very it's actually quite a bit worse than what I would have imagined it being. They just took turns doing that for fucking 5 minutes, while I'm sitting there telling them, like, just tell me what to do, guys, I'll do it, I'll be compliant, da, 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 da. And the law is clear. I'm trying to pull it up. Evidently my internet's not working. Is the Supreme Court and the Constitution and all of that shit is very clear on you just can't, for one, you can't punish a pretrial detainee, but two, you can't, you can control threats and, bad behavior, but when there's compliance, is you can't just do whatever you want and like just punish and hurt and cause pain for a prolonged period of time when the behavior of the person you're punishing has been nothing but the absolute best possible behavior that you possibly could have. Like, you literally couldn't possibly do it better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ending every sentence with "sir," and like I'm saying every sentence, like, just going above and beyond, and basically not resisting any kind of movement they're attempting to do with my body. It's like I'm making sure verbally and in every way possible that I'm not going to resist whatsoever. You know what I mean? Because as far as I was concerned, is the motherfuckers were willing and damn near almost did literally fucking kill me for no goddamn reason, because I wanted my phone call, and then felt like I knew more about the law than they did and wanted to share some knowledge. That was the thing that I did so terrible. And so I wasn't playing around with them, because these motherfuckers were, as far as I was concerned, about as evil and heartless and unpredictable as you get, because it's hard for me to fathom doing shit like that. It's one thing if somebody, I'm not saying somebody couldn't deserve it, I'm not saying that what they did is something that should never, ever, ever happen in a jail. I may have acted once in my life in a way that was that sort of punishment was maybe somewhat close to appropriate, but basically, but probably not. But what I do know is that situation is basically, I literally just wanted my fucking phone call, and I was kind of distraught that I was literally forced to still be in there when I done had a bond hearing that I should have went to, that they randomly took away from me, and don't have the authority or shouldn't have the authority to do that. And that was it. Like, I wasn't making threats. I wasn't like, oh, you're not going to give me a phone call, motherfucker. You wait till this door pops, I'm going to bust your ass. Like, there literally wasn't nothing. There was no threats. There was no nothing. It was me informing them of what the law is. And, that was it. And, I could get how that could get people fired up, especially when you feel like you're the authority and you know shit. I could get how that could upset you. But to put someone about as close as they've ever been to dying over that is just, completely insane and inhumane and unlawful and unconstitutional. And, the list goes on.
So Rebel.
Yeah.
First, I want our viewers to understand Rebel lives in the same town as me. He's dealt with the same police as me. But anyway, have you reported this to the Virginia Department of Justice?
No, I haven't yet. Basically, I'll tell you what. We can turn the camera around if we want again.
All right.
I don't know what's going on with my laptop. I haven't, because one thing I've kind of looked into is, and I already knew the system was corrupt, but basically, one thing that I've kind of learned in this process is that when it comes to like lawsuits against the jail, is for one, no lawyer is going to help you. Like you can have the easiest payday on the planet. I have no firsthand. I already have that. They don't even have to get the evidence. I have it. I'll supply it.
I requested it.
Is there? Huh?
I requested you to get your
Oh
camera.
shit. Yeah. Okay. I got it. So there's that. No lawyer's going to help. But another thing that I found out is very few people are successful with it, and it tends to almost always be the exact same reason. And the reason is it's dismissed right off the bat. It's never put in front of a jury. And it's always for the same reason. And it's failure to state a claim in which relief can be granted. So basically, I wanted to not be like 98% of everyone else that, because I'm not the first person that's been violated. It happens quite a bit. There's probably numerous people listening, or maybe some of y'all, that their rights were just flat out violated. And that's just how it is. And, everyone and their brother, isn't winning lawsuits for it, but people are experiencing it. I'm not the first person that they did that, something similar to. And basically, I didn't want to let them get away. And, filing just slightly the wrong way that's all it takes. And it's dismissed and you don't get a second chance. So I've kind of been dragging. My plan is coming up with a plea bargain for the state, right? And it involved like a settlement along with dismissing the charges that I'm not guilty of anyway. So even without the jail torture, just I'm just flat out not guilty of the bond, the charges as written. You know, I don't meet the criteria. Like what it says, felony eluding is there's three forms of criteria to be felony eluding. I don't have three. I meet two of them, which means I'm guilty of misdemeanor looting, but I just flat out don't have, I didn't have high speed evasive maneuvers that endangered the operation of an emergency vehicle or a person, okay? Because I was going the speed limit or under the entire time. So there's no high speed evasive maneuvers and there was no danger to any person or the operation of the vehicle. So just as the charge is written, is I just flat out clear as day. You can watch the whole chase, so to speak, and no one can point out and be like, "That's when you did it. That's when you risked someone's life." Is you can't, because it's not there. So I'm just flat out not guilty of it. So instead of going through all the work of filing a lawsuit and da 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 da, as I was just trying to roll it all in one, and in a plea deal that I created, which was basically drop all the charges, but maybe reduce the felony eluding to a misdemeanor eluding, give me like a year with a year suspended or something like that. And I had a plea wrote up and basically lost it. That's a whole nother long story in itself. But so that was kind of my plan. And just these lawyers are, corrupt as hell. I can't get no lawyer to basically submit any evidence, on my behalf. Even the most basic of fundamental common sense defense strategies that like are common sense to a defense strategy, they will not, even though I'm, spelling it out for them, they will not do it. They will not file the motion. They will not file the motion to suppress. They will not uh, challenge jurisdiction, which is basic and fundamental. They haven't. I don't have a single witness. I haven't had a single witness be subpoenaed yet, and I have like 12 or 14 that I want to add to the case. Um, the officer
When
wasn't
when is your court date?
cross-examined whatsoever.
When is your court date?
Well, I don't have one now, because I had one like a week or two ago, and basically my new lawyer, because like I said, I fired the first one. My new lawyer's texting me, telling me tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set a date for trial. I think maybe wanted me to enter a plea. I'm like, uh, none of my evidence has been submitted on the record. Like, and you make a plea based on the evidence of the case, and none of my evidence is there. So uh, that's completely out of the question. We have to
Well,
we have to
the
submit our evidence.
reason I'm asking is because I think you should come over to my house this weekend, because I don't want to talk too much about it on our lives, because there's a lot of people in Winchester that watch our show.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I mean, I'm not. That's what I was kind of saying earlier. Is I'm not really around, for that purpose. I'm attempting to participate in court matters. And the day that I had court, is I didn't just not go to court, as I was actually texting my lawyer the day before and the morning of beforehand, letting him know that, hey, I would like to participate in court. Uh, but I just can't. But I would like to do Zoom or something, which is a capability of the courts. They used to actually require it during COVID. And they just flat out. And I called the clerk before court and said, hey, I'd like to participate, via Zoom, da 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 da. And yeah, so letting me participate is they issued a warrant for failure to appear, and so yeah, I'm working on that. Um, and it's just and so I'm trying to get my lawyer to recuse himself, okay, because he doesn't understand the most basic of things, for one, and two, uh isn't putting up any sort of reasonable defense whatsoever, considering I have no evidence on the record. Is unwilling to challenge jurisdiction, which I've been trying to do for 3 months, because I actually gave him the law. I gave him the law that says they don't have jurisdiction, uh, and cited a lawyer that's actually traveling the entire country doing the We Are Free tour. Tanawa Downing. I'm not sure if you heard of him, but they're putting every county of every state, I believe it is, on notice, basically for the exact same thing that I'm saying. Okay, in the Constitution, I think it's Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2, if I'm not mistaken, of the Constitution says any case in which a
Yeah,
state,
we're familiar. We're familiar. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. So hold on, Rebel.
so that law
First,
basically says they don't have jurisdiction.
right. So my little one just won't leave me alone. So we need to end the show tonight. I'm going to bring you back on another night, but stay on, because me and Darren need to talk to you.
Yeah, we're gonna end it.
Okay.
We'll just hang right here for a
So
minute.
just stay on. Don't go anywhere.
All right, everybody. Good night. Tomorrow night, Angry Citizen will be on with us. This is what happens when they lock you guys up. So make sure that this doesn't happen to you. You know what? People still have rights, even though they go to jail. We'll catch you all tomorrow night.
The hunters just became the hunted. Tiff and the Punisher. We're coming for you. Systems corrupt, snatching kids in the night. Foster care pipelines, profit from the fight. Lies on the paper, judges paid off. uncovering the lies, screaming out the names. When the hunters become the hunted, we are coming for you. Podcast dropping bombs, every episode raw. Real survivor stories breaking every law. You hunt the parents, label us all insane, but we flip the script, now you feel the pain. Got it for CPS, equal and the same. Breaking down the system, screaming out your name. Foster care secrets buried in the dirt. We dig them up deep, watch the whole thing burn. You thought you were untouchable, hiding behind the stage, but the hunted are rising. It's already too late. When the hunters become the hunted, we are coming for you. When the hunters become the hunted, CPS, your time is through. Tiff and the Punisher rising from the flames, uncovering the lies, screaming out the name. When the hunters become the hunted, we are coming for you. Gunning for CPS, equal and the same. Uncovering foster care, your empire, foster day. When the hunters become the hunted, we are coming for you. When the hunters become the hunted, CPS, we're coming through. Tiff and the Punisher, the movement's alive. Parental rights warriors, we will survive. When the hunters become the hunted, we are coming for you. Yeah, the hunters just became the hunted. We coming.
We know it's all about the money, we know they lie, we know this is corruption. Does CPS know what they are doing to the children?